Welcome to episode 2 of the Late Night Podcast. It's about animation, entertainment, video games, just anything that goes on about in the warrior circles. And boy, has it been a crazy month.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of changes since the last time we posted the last one.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, do we still have 9 views from the first episode?
Yeah, that was partially my fault for not posting it on the Twitter, which is LNW Duo, by the way.
Right. I figured we should plug that in at the beginning rather than at the end like the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, at LNW Duo, all one word. I guess it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or all caps. You'll find it either way if you type it in. But yeah, I was just kind of surprised that the last episode got 9 views.
Yeah, it is a bit of a, more of an investment into the podcast.
I mean, obviously we're not like looking to get famous out of it or anything. It was just kind of like the previous videos got what did the last video get?
It was the truth about the Inquisition that was like 9K views.
Yeah, where is everyone at? We lost everyone. I think.
Hey, don't worry. I think you can expect another video from this self-proclaimed overanalyzing man pretty soon. I'll just say that.
Yeah, he's teasing it to me too. I don't know what he's doing, but we're all in quarantine. Theoretically, yes. I say that because me and Alex are in the same place right now, except he's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I'm not. He's more paranoid than I am. I just realized.
By the way, what's your name?
My name. I am still trying to figure that out. It's Chris.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And also, I'm Alex, by the way.
Yeah, I think
in case,
I mentioned
the introductions weren't very proper there, but, you know.
Nothing ever is. Speaking of which, I just realized, do you think they'll hear you well through that mask that you're wearing?
They should be able to. Well, I guess I'll just project enough so that you can be able to hear me. But it should have sounded about the same. I mean, you can hear me just fine, right?
Yeah, I can. I just don't want you to be in the situation where you're like listening again just to see if everything came out right, and then you hear my voice coming out fine, and your voice is kind of.
Again, I'll just project enough. This time I'll be way more projective about everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All right. No, we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just like a thin piece of fabric or.
Yeah, they're recommending N95 mask too, and I've just got a regular mask. So, I mean, it should still help.
Also, just to be sure, you didn't lock this thing, right?
The car, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, just wondering. I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but we recorded the last podcast in Alex's car because apparently it has a really good sound environment. The difference though is that last time we did it at night,
and now we're doing it in the day.
We're doing it in the day, and I'm regretting pushing this off because it is hot as hell in here, which is really weird.
Classic California weather, though.
It's really weird because it was pouring just last night, and now it's hot. And I'm only asking because you might hear some car door opening in the background. You might hear
some water bottles as well.
You might hear some water bottles. If one of us opens the door, you might hear the outside a little bit, but that's only because we don't want to die mid-session.
Well, this is the challenge, though. Because
this is the challenge. I gotta turn this into a challenge because I will lose. I will lose. I got this long hair. It's wow, wait, it's so hot.
I guess before we talk about dying, so we talked about this movie on the last podcast, and we before the quarantine started taking into effect, we managed to watch the movie, and that movie is Disney Pixar's Onward.
Onward.
Which, honestly, well, how do I start this? I guess I should start with my thoughts. I'll just note that it didn't need to market itself as, I guess, something a little bigger than it looked with some of those first trailers that they showed. And what I found interesting is that when I looked at the trailers for Soul, at least the way that first trailer for Soul got right into, I guess, the silly character at the end is like, yeah, maybe Soul's it's gonna be pretty silly. It's not gonna.
Well, you saw the new trailer, right?
Yeah, and the new trailer for Soul is actually really cool.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm sure I gushed about Soul
Yeah,
in the last recording.
but for some reason, I feel that the trailers for Soul have been a little more subdued in comparison to Onward's trailers. But
How so?
I can't point that out at the moment. But
we gotta give him some time to overanalyze it. So you could overanalyze. No, everyone else is already overanalyzing trailers. I don't think we need more of that.
Yeah, but I'll just say that the Onward trailers that they first had, maybe they were putting a little too much into it. But I mean, to be fair, I don't think I really saw the later trailers for the movie.
For Onward?
Yeah, but you know what? Anyways, the whole topic was not about the trailers. It's the movie itself, which I think, honestly, it was fun. It was a fun movie, and I guess an interesting detail, I think Dan Scanlon, the director, he really wanted to bring, like, rock and metal music into Monsters University, and of course that never happened, but you could tell that with Onward, he was able to play around with that a little more, which I thought that was pretty nice.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Was it, like, background music, or...?
I mean, yeah, it's like sort of background music throughout the film, but except I guess it's brung up more than in Monsters U. So
okay, I didn't notice that. I was more invested in the story.
The story was pretty nice. I really liked Barley too.
Yeah,
he was a great character.
I like the conclusion that Ian went on at the end. I don't know if we can talk about spoilers.
You know what? Okay, well, okay, we're about to go into spoilers.
Wait.
I'm just.
Should we? I mean, you heard that like they released the movie like literally a month later.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up actually a little after giving our thoughts here.
Yeah,
but Disney, because of this virus that's going on, the coronavirus, they've actually decided to release not only Frozen 2 a little earlier than planned on Disney Plus, but
Onward as well.
They've released Onward on digital download as we speak, and it's going to Disney Plus next month on April.
And I guess that kind of brings up an entirely different conversation about releasing movies. I mean, I think I texted you about it. What did they say? What did I saw? I guess was it Minions? No, Minions was delayed. No, it was the Trolls. It was Trolls. They said they were going to release it for home media on the same day they released it in theaters. And, for the longest time, that is a hypothetical question that I have thought about since forever.
The theaters are kind of forced to do this now because of this.
Because of the shutdown of everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of interesting, even though like I don't really have an interest in watching Trolls. For me, it'll kind of be an interesting scenario to see play out. Was it next month or? When's Trolls coming out?
I think it was this month. Maybe it was next. Actually, no.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll search it up later.
Yeah.
But that's just sort of an interesting situation that's been happening with some of these movies, and then some movies are being delayed because no one's coming into the studio. But part of me kind of thinks, why is it getting delayed if they're going to be working from home? But it's probably just the fact that, since everyone's in one place, they could probably, have a better workflow when everyone's together, which makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, there are a ton of other productions I think they've sort of figured out the work at home situation.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like whether they have to film more or maybe they have to record more audio or something, that is a bit tricky. But I'm just hoping that this situation de-escalates sooner than later.
Yeah. Oh,
wait, what were you about to say?
Oh no, I was gonna go off on a tangent. Just a funny little tangent I just remembered. There was this post I saw on Instagram, which I think was a screenshot of a Twitter post. Or was it? I don't remember. Basically, the gist of this post was someone was like, "Oh, with theaters closing down, this hypothetical question has been brought up of if the movie theaters are going to stay closed forever, what would be the last movie you've ever seen in theaters?" So I was like, "Oh, okay, having Onward as the last movie I'll ever see in theaters, I think I can live with that." But I feel sorry for those whose last movie they've seen in theaters was Cats, maybe Sonic. Someone didn't like the fact that Sonic was their last movie that they'll see in theaters in this situation, which I found hilarious. Just imagine, like, oh, what was the last movie you've ever seen before the theater shut down? Sonic.
Yeah.
Cats.
I can live with Onward being my last movie too, but it was really good. Did you have any other thoughts, by the way?
About
I guess that don't spoil the movie because it's coming out.
Yeah. Again. Again. I don't know. Maybe we can talk more about it in the next episode. But I guess closing thoughts. I really liked Onward. I guess it's not one of Pixar's like strongest movies, which is weird to say because Pixar's normally has like strong releases. Yeah. But they've been around long enough to the point where now they're starting to get kind of not as strong movies. But I feel like it's funny too because I remember everyone before I saw the movie, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it was super." The emotional bits really hit hard in this movie. So I was kind of curious about what they meant by that, and I guess I can confirm, for me at least, that it was definitely near the end. Got pretty teary-eyed about that ending. I mean, it's Pixar, so of course, even with movies that aren't like as good as they normally do, it's still miles ahead of anyone else. I guess that's as far as I'll go if we're not going to talk about spoilers for now. Yeah, it was a nice, more low-key movie from Pixar, and I've noticed people I guess they felt a little as mixed about Monsters University, which funny enough that's the same movie that the director also worked on. So I wonder if this guy's just going to be doing more low-key movies for Pixar. I don't mind that, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's just more movies from Pixar, which is never a bad thing. So, and then, I guess, like you sort of mentioned, sometimes they need to not go all out all the time. I mean, they kind of tried to do that with The Good Dinosaur, and that probably hurt that film a little more. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that the movie came out literally right at the start of this panic. I mean, I heard it did good numbers anyways, but the numbers don't matter. It's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good. I guess my other closing thought is going to be, I think Onward could actually work in terms of having a TV show spin-off. I feel it has potential there. Maybe it could continue off where our main characters' journeys are went, or it's going to focus on other characters entirely. What could you do in a Onward spin-off if it was a TV show? I mean, the world's there, characters are kind of there, or no, they are there. But what else can you do? I guess probably we could see more of Ian learning more spells, I guess. Perhaps that, and then maybe they relate to just him growing up, Yeah, I mean... Maybe some side stories with Barley. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've always seen Zootopia as a super huge potential for, I guess, a TV spinoff. Because I think I've heard people have the same sentiment, actually. Yeah, because, it's... The worlds in Zootopia are so incredibly vast. I kind of wish we saw more of that or spent more time on that in the movie. Disney Plus is a thing now, so maybe they will do that at some point. Maybe, yeah. Speaking of which, I think they finally confirmed that the Proud Family is going to have its own show. Oh, yeah. May as well jump into this now, but some status updates on Disney Plus. So, yeah, the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, that is officially confirmed. Yeah. It's going to be heading towards Disney Plus. Yeah. It was a really good show on Disney. I remember I really loved what's his name, Oscar, the father. Oh, he was a great character. It's a really good show, and I'm glad it's coming back. Yeah, and then of course, all the characters are going to be older. But I think my favorite part is the fact that we're getting the Proud Family back, and on a completely different spectrum, we're also getting the Boondocks back on HBO Max. So maybe I'll probably double feature both. Boondocks are coming back? Even though the Boondocks is incredibly savage compared to the Proud Family, but they're two pretty big shows. Yeah. If you don't mind for a second, I'm gonna let in a small breeze in here. Sure. Oh wow, that is some good breeze. Do you feel that? I do. I feel the virus coming in. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do.
That was a nice breeze though.
Yeah, it was. It just sort of went whoosh. Do you think that'll affect the recording?
No, it's a really subtle error. I don't think it would blow into the mic.
All right.
I guess they continue the Disney Plus status update.
Disney Plus, right?
You know how they were supposed to have a Monsters Inc. show, Monsters at Work?
Oh yeah, more details on that came out, right?
It got delayed to spring 2021, apparently.
I thought I saw some artwork on it.
They did put more artwork, but that was pretty much around the time D23 happened, which was 2 years ago, right? So much has changed since then, I've got to say. When they first revealed this show in early 2018, I mentioned to you that it was going to be about like this aspiring monster who really wants to be working on the scare floor alongside Mike and Sully and stuff. So it's a more like, I guess, I don't know, those like aspiring coming of age sort of stories. But then they changed it later half of 2018 where it was about, the same character still named Tyler. He's a more hunky guy now. And he gets a scaring degree at Monsters U. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be able to work at Monsters Inc. at the scare floor. But wait, it's the laugh floor now. And therefore he can't work there. So he has to start with one of the more low-level jobs instead. And it's about, I guess, his journey through that.
It's kind of like a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sequel, which is nice to see.
Yeah. But, all these things came up, and, I guess they're kind of behind on schedule in terms of the production, so they had to postpone it, according to one of the show directors.
I can only imagine, like, why they're taking so long just to produce a TV show at Pixar. I don't know if it's like done at their studio
it's done at Disney's TV studio actually, and then Pixar just gives approval, and they give them all like the backlog material to build off of.
Oh, okay. Because I always imagined it was done at the studio in Emeryville, so I just imagine it's kind of like they're working on Soul. They're probably working on 3 other movies that haven't been announced, and then they have like this TV production here.
Yeah.
They're
actually doing it at Burbank at the Disney TV animation studio. They even got a French animation studio to do the 3D portion of it, and I think I've heard it looks as good as Pixar. Really.
What do you mean the 3D portion of it is?
Like the animation. I meant that. My bad.
Okay, I was like, what? Like,
no, it's not going to be in 3D.
Is it a 2D thing or? I didn't know if it was going to be a 2D or 3D.
It's going to be a 3D series, but like not in the sense that you got to get 3D glasses, but it looks like Pixar.
Like obviously like 2D animation or 3D animation.
Yeah.
From the artwork, I guess I always assumed that it would be a 2D sort of show. Because they haven't shown anything 3D yet.
Yeah, they haven't.
I mean, that's kind of the impression that I got. But I mean, it's, I don't mind 3D.
But it's interesting because, like, it's getting postponed to spring 2021. And I've kind of learned that I think we talked about on the last podcast how Disney Plus has a lack of content. You want to know why? Because the lack of content is due to a creative issue. And you know how Bob Iger dropped out as CEO, right?
Yeah, we've all heard that. Yeah.
He's still at Disney, actually, but he's dedicating his time to fix Disney Plus because they've already had a lot of like cancellations of shows. Like they were supposed to have a Muppet show from Josh Gad. It was going to be set in Manhattan again, like the older Muppet stuff. We were supposed to get a Tron show that got canceled. There's supposed to be a villain show, the Disney villain show, but that also got canceled because I guess they found it to be too dark. And then, you got, I don't know if Monsters at Work is related to this creative issue, but Lizzie McGuire got postponed. Is because apparently it got a little more edgy. But the thing is, the creators didn't want to lose that edge that now that Lizzie is like 30 years old or something, and she has to kind of face these sort of issues.
Yeah, I guess grow up with the audience, not audience.
Yeah, grow up like the audience.
Yeah,
and it would be interesting to see if they'd keep the animated portion of it still. They probably might, but that show got postponed because of they got a little racy, I guess. and two of their shows, they got a little too racy, and that they moved to Hulu. And basically, Bob Iger just wants to kind of, like, really figure out, like, how to prevent this from happening. Because, I mean, Disney Plus has already established itself with shows like The Mandalorian and, I mean, even getting something like The Simpsons. And it seems like they do, like, a mature audience on Disney Plus, but in terms of, like, how to get those kind of shows like The Mandalorian is something they're trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're not getting much stuff on Disney Plus, I guess. Speaking
of Bob Iger, well, we're gonna move into like conspiracy time just for a little bit. So I was reading this post about the whole like coronavirus thing, right? And then I think the stock market has been going down ever since.
Yeah.
And I guess apparently that it just so happens that a decent amount of CEOs have stepped down from their CEO position before this whole coronavirus thing took off. So I'm thinking, damn it, Bob Iger, he must have known something was going to happen. Is this the real reason why he stepped down? Is that why Bob left us for Bob? Is that why all these other companies left for their own Bobs? Who knows? But it makes sense if this information is true, that all these CEOs sort of been like, oh, hey, we're just going to replace ourselves with this other guy for no reason, you know, even though all the other CEOs are doing it. And then the next thing you know, coronavirus, bam. And the next thing you know, bam, stock market is kind of going,
man.
It's something to think about, you know?
Well, all right, well, I'll leave that to our audience's
I guess
perspective, but
yeah, I mean, I haven't fact checked it yet, but something to think about. It's just something I just remembered from you talking about Bob Iger stepping down. Just sort of came to mind. This is gonna turn into the next Alex Jones.
No.
Sort of show. They're turning all the frogs gay. That's still happening. Alright, let's see what's next before the FBI comes in.
Yeah.
The CIA, FBI.
So also this month, Sony released, they basically revealed a lot more of what used to be called The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's now this movie called Connected. And they released like more artwork, they released a logo for it, and eventually that led up to the trailer for the movie. Now, Chris, what do you think about Connected?
Connected?
At least based on the trailer.
You know, I haven't heard of Connected at all before the trailer. When I figured it out, it was the day before the trailer dropped. I was browsing on Twitter, and I think I somehow landed on Sony Animation's Twitter page, and they were like, "Oh, hey, we have this trailer coming out tomorrow called Connected," and you know they posted like this little like 4-second clip of like that dog running through like some sort of meadows with the word "connected" in the background. So I was like, I don't know what to think about this, but I guess I'll come back tomorrow and check it out, because I had no idea beforehand, you know? So when the trailer dropped, I came to really, really like it. Visually, it looks amazing.
Agreed.
I saw that they had like some little effects done in 2D, which was that same touch was in Spider-Verse. So it's kind of nice that they brought it for Connected, and that the design for the 3D characters and everything still looked like it was following like a sort of a 2D design method, you know? So it looked really cartoony. It was really easy, really nice on the eyes. I love it. I am definitely looking forward to that one, especially since it seems like Sony is trying to get their act together since everyone loved Spider-Verse, no one liked Emoji Movie. However, though, it almost seemed like you still weren't on board with it because... I
mean, I like the animation style. It's just mainly the story.
It's the story that's what you're talking about. I mean, yeah. I mean, personally, I don't... it doesn't bug me that much. Maybe it could go in that way, but, you know, you never know.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. I want to come in a little more cautious
because it's still by the same. It's still by the same. What was it? Phil Lord and
Chris Miller. They're only producers. Maybe they scripted it. The thing is, I guess lately they've been mainly producing and they've been finding the talent, I guess, for these movies like Spider-Verse and Connected. And you know what? Spider-Verse is good. And even though, like the story seems like it's the technology bad or okay boomer sort of stuff, I'm gonna give them a little slack. Just wait and see what it's gonna be like.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the way I see it, since it's those two guys sort of leading the production, for me, it's sort of like, I have nothing to worry about. It's gonna come out good. Visually, it looks good. Obviously, its story, it'll probably be something good. For me, I am probably more optimistic than everyone, or than the average, slightly cynical viewer that goes into these kinds of movies.
And the other thing too is they also produced a Lego movie, and that did surprise a lot of people too, because this is a Lego movie. This is going to be such like a big product placement, but then at the same time the story still had something to, no pun intended, connect to. I mean, honestly, I gotta admit, when I saw the Lego movie back then, I didn't connect with it much, except for that one part.
Which part?
I mean, the movie's been out for a while, right? When it's revealed how the world.
Oh yeah. It was. I thought that was a super nice touch to it.
Same.
I thought that was really cool. I don't think. Well, when did the movie come out? Like
2014.
Yeah, all of you guys should have seen it by now. It was such a big thing back then.
But if they can surprise us with the Lego movie, and I guess Spider-Verse as well, I should definitely cut some slack on Connected. Maybe it'll come out nicely in the end.
You kind of brought it up, or I guess it kind of occurred to me how I didn't realize it then, but I guess a lot of people thought that the Lego movie was going to be like one big commercial. For some reason, that thought has never once occurred to me when the movie was coming out. I was, it looked super cool. The trailers were super hilarious, and visually it looked amazing. I never got the sense that it might be a big commercial, for me at least. I could kind of see why now, hindsight, I guess. I could kind of see why people thought of it, because it's a Lego, it's a toy and all that. But I never got the sense of that, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Maybe the Playmobil movie might have had a little bit of that. I've seen some stuff about the Playmobil movie. Again, I don't think it was more of a big commercial. It just kind of seemed like they were really trying hard to ride the coattails of the Lego movie.
They were a little too late though, but
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but like I've watched reviews by other people, and I've seen some trailers and stuff. It just kind of looks like they're just trying to be the Lego movie. I wonder how the Playmobil movie is doing.
But just with that thought and perspective of where they took the Lego movie, I guess you should give them a little more credit, and that what they got out of Connected is maybe kind of like the filter, and that ultimately, if you do want to end up watching it, it might actually be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I guess. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say is Connected delayed?
It's still going after September, it seems like.
Oh, it's in September. Yeah. I thought it was a summer movie.
Actually, it was either September or August. I forget. But it's basically it's coming. It's still scheduled. Still months away.
I'm surprised Soul is still scheduled for.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna deal with that if we have to stay in home for 2 months, but we'll see.
Yeah, because I'm really excited for Soul, and I guess the general consensus for this whole lockdown, people said 2 months, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I always got the idea that it would be until the end of March.
That's what a bunch of other people, like a bunch of corporations, are trying to go after, but everything just keeps getting a little more insane.
Yeah.
All these updates are coming in, at least. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, it was kind of like, it's just going to go to the end of March. And then you start hearing, like, theaters closing down. Business is slowing down. GameStop is closed. Oh, the tragedy. GameStop is closed.
Should we go to this? Yeah, we should go to GameStop. You know what? we'll talk about GameStop.
Am I just jumping back? Am I jumping like all over the place with your script right now?
Dude, it's fine. This is how we roll. But okay, so a bunch of GameStops have ended up closing as a result of the coronavirus, and I think one of the funnier parts I found out of that is that the CEO was really trying to claim that it was an essential retail business and it should stay open to the public, even though
it kind of is. I got this email today that was like, it was from GameStop because I signed up for the GameStop rewards many years ago.
Yeah, I didn't get any email from them though.
Oh, well, I did. I signed up for the rewards program by pure accident. But it was essentially something along the lines of like, oh yeah, GameStop. I think it was by the CEO or something. Some corporate executive head. We at GameStop, we will continue to serve the community. So what we are going to do is that we are still going to have employees come into our store, but we are going to now introduce this new service, which is essentially a delivery service by GameStop. You know what?
Oh.
Actually, as a matter of fact, let me pull up the email.
The email?
Let me pull it up. Actually, no, it's
is this different from... apparently someone reported, I think a journalist...
Oh, it was yesterday.
He reported that, yeah, they're doing curbside delivery, quote-unquote,
it's
from GameStop. And then they're also going to give more PTO, apparently, which that's nice.
It's called GameStop Deliver at Door. So the email came in yesterday. I thought it was today. Yeah, there it is. So over the last week, you've continued to la la la. Thank you for la la la. We're announcing a new way of making our stores and our wide array of gaming available to you during this time. Beginning today, Sunday, which was yesterday, our employees will be allowed inside of our stores, and we are offering a contactless delivery service called Delivery at Door. It's essentially they're just delivering games.
Yeah.
If it's in stock, we will send it. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. While operating under delivery at door protocols, we will not be able to accept returns or exchanges, but they will adjust the policy to allow you more time to return recent purchases. Once our stores are fully opened, yada, 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 they change their hours. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, so that was something interesting that came up. So I was like, oh, cool, GameStop has a delivery service. I'm still gonna use the eShop.
Yeah, and I want to get into that argument. My take on the whole GameStop thing, even though I've been going to GameStop for years and knowing how they treat their employees or stuff, I'm kind of... I'm sorry to say this, but I'm kind of happy that they're in this position because they kind of deserve it. But yeah, we've just come to the point now where I think digital distribution has become like a better option than anything at this point. I mean, sure, you won't be able to get like the physical goodies that some of those like games offer when you pre-order it, but like it seems like they're alleviating that a bit with digital as well. Mm-hmm. And, everyone has internet access at this point, and hopefully pretty soon everyone has faster net. It looks like we're headed there, but...
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I still have no internet. Yeah. I'm in a weird situation where I don't really have an internet connection in 2020.
Yeah, he has his phone, but, like, it's still not incredibly fast.
It's still not preferable, I'm still using mobile data. I did a video chat with my class today. Everything went by smoothly, but part of me still prefer that I did it through a Wi-Fi connection because I go through a lot of gigabytes of mobile data, apparently, because that's my only source of a connection to the outside world when I'm at home, when I need to like upload or download or watch YouTube or blah 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 blah. So And I've been without it for so long that sometimes when I do connect to the internet on the computer, I'm just like, what do I do? Yeah. I don't know what to do. I open up Chrome and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I'm guessing lost.
I'm guessing you access the eShop through your mobile data too.
Yeah, well, I usually do when I go over to my dad's place.
Gotcha. So basically someone else's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's where I went to download Animal Crossing. Speaking of Animal Crossing,
we should jump into there. Should we jump into there?
I guess.
Okay, so there are a lot of video game releases this month.
Oh, just Mr. Segway at this
point. So you've got Animal Crossing, you got Doom Eternal, which I don't have, and you have Half-Life Alyx.
Which Alex has.
I do, yes. But first, let's talk about Animal Crossing, dude. Animal Crossing, I will just straight up say it's as comfy as it ever was. Like, but at the same time, I really like the take they have now, where it's like you have to start the town from the ground up, which I'm surprised they haven't done yet.
Yeah. The game came out at basically the right time.
It did.
I'll be honest. I initially did not want to buy Animal Crossing on launch day, only because I wanted them to sort out the whole save data backup issue.
Yeah.
Or I thought I heard somewhere that the save data can't be transferred to another Switch. I don't know. I forgot. I still haven't checked on that. Someone told me to verify that, and I haven't. I'm just remembering that now. So I wanted to wait till that gets sorted out because I don't want to be in the situation where it's like, oh no, my Switch is dead.
Or you're about to get another Switch. Like the Switch Pro comes out and then you're all like, crap, I can't.
The theoretical Switch Pro. I'm planning to switch over to the Switch Pro if that's a real thing. So that's why I was like, oh, I wanted to get Animal Crossing, but I don't want to invest if they haven't figured that out. But with this whole quarantine situation, I figured, you know what? Screw it. I'll buy it. It's Animal Crossing. My first Animal Crossing was New Leaf, and I had a lot of fun. So I figured, you know what? Yeah, might as well. And speaking of New Leaf, I've always wondered where you can take Animal Crossing once they give you that mayor position, you know? Because, before that, a lot of people were like, oh, we want another Animal Crossing. La-da-da-da-da. And I always thought, yeah, it would be cool to get another Animal Crossing, but like, where can you take it at that point? At least
they figured it out.
They figured it out, yeah. At that point in time, no one knew. So for me, it was like, how do you... Like, they gave you the position to be mayor. That's as high as you can go. Because before, it was always like new town. Same thing, I guess, but on a different console.
We're going pretty low.
Yeah.
On this.
And then I mean, but I've never played the other Animal Crossing games. Like I said, my first one was New Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me was like, how could you take it from being a mayor? Because that's as high as you can go, I figured. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh hey, it's like it's almost like you're still the mayor, but now instead of coming into an existing town within the lore of Animal Crossing, it's more of like, oh, you're going to build a community from the ground up. So it's almost kind of, for me, it kind of feels like New Leaf, but with a different beginning. I guess part of me thinks that's the reason why I wasn't as excited for New Horizons, because for me it kind of felt like, oh, it's the same as New Leaf, except instead of coming into a new town, you're just going onto a new island, and you're building everything up from there.
I thought that was a pretty refreshing take. I guess
I don't know. I guess that was my initial thoughts. You know, initially I wasn't as. I was excited that there was a new game, but I guess there's a part of me that was kind of like, oh, it's okay because it's like it's New Leaf but with a new beginning, and I wasn't so sure about the crafting aspect of things.
Yeah, crafting has become more or less, I guess, probably a lesser fun part of video games. But I feel like the way they did it in Animal Crossing it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just say that, dude, it's really hard to find iron ingots for some reason.
Yeah, at this.
It has a bit of that unfun of crafting still.
As we are recording this, I am still trying to find more iron ingot to open up my store.
Better use your ticket, man.
Yeah, I should
take a tour out.
I should take care of that later on today. But yeah, those were my initial thoughts, you know. Now, obviously, I've had like a whole weekend to play it. Obviously, like, I'm really into it. I mean, it's Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
It's, of course I'm going to get into it. It's Animal Crossing. So I like it now. I got comfortable with I guess, the premise of a building your own community from scratch. My only hope is, and I'm afraid to Google it because I'm afraid I'll find spoilers online, but I'm really hoping that we can move buildings around. And I say that because, you know, when you're on the island, initially I wanted to set my house or tent on a different part of the island, but they purposefully make you start off the game in a way where you could only explore a certain portion of the island. And they do that on purpose. So part of me was like, oh man, I kind of wanted to put my house like on top of these cliffs that they have on the other side of the river or somewhere else, you know. But obviously you can't do that unless you get the recipe for the pole vault. But that doesn't come till like way later.
Wait, you can go up the cliffs with a pole vault?
No. I'm saying that you can't cross the river, or I still haven't figured out the whole cliff thing.
Gotcha. Yeah,
But the idea is that I wanted to like put my house on a different part of the island.
Right.
But obviously at the beginning you can't cross the river until you get the pole vault, which happens way later. So part of me is kind of hoping we can move buildings around. I mean, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I guess that's just kind of what I'm hoping. I mean, you know, we're recording this at a time where the game barely just came out, and me and Alex are still in the very beginning stages of the game. Maybe we don't get that ability, or maybe we do. I'm not sure, because, you know, the whole point of it is that, you get the set stuff your way, and you get to build it however you want. So I'm hoping that idea really does carry through in that aspect. If not, it's okay. I think I chose a decent spot where my house is at.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my spot, too. I have a feeling that may not be a thing, but oh well.
Yeah, I guess oh well at this point, but I guess we just gotta keep playing. See what happens. What else?
So that was Animal Crossing, and I guess I should talk about the new Half-Life game. Dude, it's been probably like a little over 10 years since the last Half-Life game came out.
Was it Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Part 2, something like that?
Yes. You're basically right. And, you know, they originally were gonna do Episode 3. They never did. And then, you know, rumors pointed, they were gonna do a third game. That didn't happen. Although I'm hearing something, I'm not gonna spoil the head of Half-Life Alyx, but I'm hearing that there may be hints of something like that at the end of this new game. But about the game, it's really polished. It's really great. And it's one of the more polished VR games I've ever played. And, you know, just kind of traversing through with the gunplay and just like picking up all the sorts of objects, like everything. Like, it feels like Valve put a lot of time into it, and like, that's all I could say thus far, because I've only done like about 2 hours of the game thus far, but I'm really enjoying it. I hope to see what's at the end, what they hint at the end. And I mean, I know they run by a Valve time where it's like, it's done when it's done sort of mentality. But like, if this is true, if we are going to get another major VR release from them pretty soon, like, dude, I'll definitely buy it too.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I didn't realize, I learned about this a while ago, but I didn't realize that I guess at Valve, it's sort of the environment there is sort of like, everyone's doing their own thing. Maybe you could pair up with other people. Maybe you can work on stuff. It's sort of very loose, I guess, from what I've heard.
That sounds pretty nice.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
Yeah, it sounds cool. You know, I guess the downside is that for the consumer,
they have to wait eons.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when they do release stuff, it's something pretty anticlimactic, like anything related to Dota, I guess. Yeah. Like when they revealed that card game, I'll never forget that video where it's like they revealed, it's a new Dota card game, and everyone was like, like the whole crowd. I don't know if you've seen that video.
No, I remember that. I think it was like. It was at an E3 where it was like,
it was at one of their Dota 2 tournaments.
Oh, I thought it was at E3, because I remember that video. It was like, we're here to release Dota, and then they had it on screen, and everyone was like, woo, and then they're like, card game, and then you could, you could hear the and it was, man,
but
it was really funny.
I guess I haven't thought about that aspect of Valve too much. But, okay, I guess that puts into more perspective as to why that sort of thing happens. But eventually, you do get something great like Half-Life Alyx come out of it. And, dude, I hope... It seems like the way they've released this game out, that maybe they've got it together. But we'll see. Maybe they still go by their old mentality. But you know what? Maybe it's for the best if we're getting games as quality as that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it. I don't have a VR headset. Speaking of VR headsets... are you playing Half-Life on the Quest, or is it on
The Quest.
On the Quest?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I could have got their headset, but, you know, I ended up not getting it because I was happy with what the Quest offered, and you could easily, I mean, it's still in a beta sort of program, but you could just connect it to your PC, and then you can make that your PC headset. While it's not as smooth as, say, like the Rift CV1, like their first Oculus Rift, it's still pretty convenient to use the Quest like that.
Yeah, I realize that, I guess, being under this quarantine mentality, I would probably benefit from having a VR headset. And that's another thing too. Recently, I got around to doing my taxes, and I got approximate. I'm just gonna round it up. I got about like $600 in returns.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So then I was thinking, okay, what could I get with $600? Then I started thinking maybe I could get another pair of Joy-Cons, my first thought actually was a new phone. I've been looking.
Oh yeah, you've been thinking about that for a while. Maybe you should do that first, honestly. I mean, the Quest is cool, but maybe it's about time your phone gets an upgrade, you know?
Yeah, my brother Frank, he's like, Chris, this is your time to get a new phone. And I'm like, yeah, but like, a phone's a phone, and I don't have a job right now currently. So I feel like maybe I could, but then again, buying Joy-Cons, it's on the same stupid level as buying a phone. But then again, a phone I use every day. I guess the phone is like kind of a almost necessary device that you use every day. And hearing you talk about VR, that kind of got the gears turning again. I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should buy like the Quest or something.
That is a good idea, but again, you get a new phone.
But yeah, I was kind of bringing this up with Alex and some other people a lot. But I was doing my homework with what phone I should get if I ever got around to it. And initially I was set on the OnePlus, but then like I kind of moved away from OnePlus. Alex told me about the Pixel, and the Pixel looks kind of promising, but then they're like, oh hey, we're gonna release the 4. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll wait for the 4.
And the 4 is just the same thing.
The 4 is the same thing, and I'm like, bruh, this is really disappointing. That's what kind of killed my interest with the Pixel. And I never considered Samsung because I always saw Samsung as like the super expensive, like premium kind of device. But then I started looking into them, and I was like, oh wow, like everything I'm kind of looking for in a phone, it's kind of already there. They have SD card slot, headphone jack, high internal memory storage, better camera, has a wide lens. I don't know why. I really came to enjoy wide lens. I've always imagined that if I got a phone with a camera like that, we could probably use that to start recording videos, since it can do, I think, 4K.
Oh yeah. These phone cameras are getting pretty strong at this point.
1080, so. They can do it at 60 frames or 24 frames. So I figured, we can just use that to record anything at that point. And then they released the S20. I wasn't gonna go for the S20. It's way too new. It's way too expensive. I would like to consider the Fold, but you can't play with that in the store. They have it at Best.
Get the Flip.
The Flip? Yeah. Not the Fold. I want to like the Fold. I want to like the Fold, but it's so expensive, and that's not even because it's expensive. It's because it's first generation, but it's still super exciting to see like the first generation. I guess the thing that really turns me off is like the phone when it's closed.
Tiny screen, right? Yeah. Eventually they're going to work.
The embarrassingly tiny screen with the huge, I don't know, like...
They're going to get to fixing that eventually. That's, again, it's first gen.
I know they will, and
what I really want is for them to add a damn S Pen to that. I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah. That would come in handy, huh?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I mean, and then obviously they have the Fold. Well, not the Fold. What's it called?
The Flip. The Flip one is like, it's like a flip phone.
Yeah. I really want to play with the Fold and the Flip. I really want to get like a hands-on. Even if I'm not gonna buy it, I still want to like be like, whoa, look, I'm folding this phone open. Whoa, look at how it works. Look at how the camera is. Yada yada yada. But they have it at Best Buy, but they have it in a glass case, so you can only look at it, which is unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but I understand why, with all the dumb customers and people running around. I could imagine someone coming into the store, oh hey, look, it's it's that new Galaxy Fold phone.
Or the
Watch.
Flip, and then they break it.
And then they break it. And then
But it's just a display model.
Yeah, and then
But still, I guess those are valuable.
Best Buy employee will be like, bruh.
They'll get the hunky security out just to kick that.
They'll toss them out, yeah. But I've kind of settled on the S10e because it's basically the same size as my current phone, which is a Stylo 2, LG Stylo 2, which I've had for a while.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, it is a dinosaur. They're selling the Stylo 5 at this point in time. I think my phone has been outdated if we're that far in. But yeah, the S10e is something that looks really interesting because it kind of has everything I want or that I'm looking for in a new phone. It's going to be a massive upgrade from this phone, obviously. So it's definitely going to be worth jumping onto that. And then, they have like all the S10 phones on display. So then I started getting greedy. I started looking at the S10 and the S10 Plus. But I'm kind of trying to like limit myself. So I kind of stuck myself up to the regular S10. And it looks cool. I like it. The only thing I was just telling Alex before the podcast, I was like, I really like the S10 because it has a slightly better camera. But then I realized, it's not because it's a slightly better camera. It's all the same cameras. The only difference is that S10 and above, they have that telephoto zoom, and the regular S10 doesn't. So part of me was like, okay, that's why. But if I think about it, how often am I going to record stuff zoomed in all the way?
Oh, yeah.
So I guess that won't be that much of a loss to me. And then I got really concerned about the whole curved screen issue, because I've heard some things about how annoying those things can be.
Again, get a case. It's going to fix everything.
Yeah. I could get a case, but I really like to have my phone out naked. But then again, that's probably not good practice in general. I mean, you see the cracks on here, right?
Yes, I do, but the audience can't, sadly. But I'll vouch for you guys. His phone's just looking a little beat up, but I mean, it's not bad.
It's not as bad as a typical iPhone.
Yes, I'll say that. I'll agree with that.
I can say that I've had this phone for the longest time, and I've dropped it so many times. Like, even when I'm like, I wish I can say it's only happened once, but I ride my bike a lot, and there's been many instances where my phone has fallen out of my pocket as I was riding, and I would go back and pick it up, and it would be fine, no cracks or anything. So it held up really nice, and I don't remember what was the incident that caused the cracks finally, but it happened. It finally happened. There's some cracks on here, but like I said, it's not as bad as a typical iPhone user with all the billions of cracks that it has on it.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe kind of a boring topic, just talking about like what phone to buy.
Yeah, but I guess you just sort of brought it up because
that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Besides other things.
Like I guess we've got to close this off with unfortunate closures of certain events. I mean, I'll just start off by saying, I guess I started off with, we don't live in Texas, but they were supposed to have the South by Southwest Festival over there. And that was the first to go in terms of, this being affected by the virus. And then I think a little after Coachella went.
Oh, Coachella
Wayside?
closed?
Yeah. Oh, no. They're still doing it in October, but still, they're not doing it like any moment soon, but they're doing it in October. And they even moved the country music equivalent Stagecoach to October as well. And eventually, with all this coming out, E3 also got canceled, and they're just not going to do that this year. It almost seemed like the ESA was just, they really wanted E3 to continue, but, it just comes about, like, why bother? Especially since E3 was going to be a little more empty, except for Microsoft and Nintendo, I guess. But at the same time, I don't think they were going to get much mileage without Sony and a couple of other key figures at E3.
Yeah, just imagine now we're going to get a Sony Direct, a Microsoft Direct,
Sony has been doing the directs for a while. They call it State of Plays.
That's right.
Yeah, but
it's
Microsoft...
It's just kind of funny to call it like, blank direct.
Yeah.
Because it seems like Nintendo, I guess in a way, was kind of like the first to really kick that sort of thing off.
They are.
Yeah.
And then the other event that ends up closing, eventually, even though for some reason they seem more persistent than the ESA with E3, it's WonderCon. That finally got postponed, even though they were all like, oh, we're still going to do it. We're still going to do it. And then eventually, I guess, because the convention center eventually wanted them to just get out, I guess.
But it's not canceled, right?
It's postponed.
Yeah, okay.
The rumor has it they might be doing it July, around the same time as Comic-Con, which, I mean, that's a little insane, honestly.
I've heard that, we were just talking about this in my online class on Saturday. Because someone was like, oh yeah, WonderCon is canceled. But I was like, oh no, it's not canceled. It's postponed. So it's still going to happen. But then someone mentioned that they were issuing refunds for badges.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Oh.
So I was kind of like, all right. If it was postponed, I imagine they wouldn't do that. But from what I heard, if they're doling out refunds, that almost kind of seems like it doesn't seem like a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that.
I haven't.
I haven't either. Yeah, I was just as surprised as you were because someone in class actually did get a ticket, but they said that she was issued a refund for the ticket.
Dang. Okay.
So I thought that was something interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I thought that the rumors of them putting it on July was a little insane because they also host San Diego Comic-Con, and that's still scheduled for July. No one's got their refunds yet from there.
From as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, they still really want to do Comic-Con this July.
It might be a good thing because I kind of wanted to go back to WonderCon. I think I skipped about a year or two because I would go every single year. Then I kind of got busy. It was all because I started working at Carl's Jr. It's an okay job. And speaking of jobs, just as a quick side, I've been really thinking about like maybe looking for a job this year, and this whole coronavirus thing is not helping.
It does suck.
I haven't sent any applications yet, so I guess.
But here's the other thing: in the animation industry, they're all working at home right now. So what do? Work at home.
I do work at home. Yeah. There we go.
Maybe it could work out.
Yeah, I was imagining how funny it would be like if I was still a cashier at Carl's Jr., but I still had to work from home. Like how the hell would that work? I would be getting yelled at by some 93-year-old boomer lady through like a webcam while I'm still dressed in the uniform.
Oh man.
Like, where are my fries? And I'm like, ma'am, I'm not actually here. You are talking to a monitor. I'm still trying to help you out. And then we have like the cooks in the back trying to cook at home. Yeah. They're like, it's almost kind of like for them, it's like playing a computer game.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't looked into it enough to be honest. But it seems like a lot of animation productions have sort of figured out the work at home situation. So hey,
and just
maybe
like
it's in your favor.
Maybe, yeah. But I think in general the whole job climate isn't good right now.
Yeah, it isn't. Well, hopefully
I guess we could only wait and see at this point.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I really need to work on my portfolio. I feel so guilty when I say that because I always say I should or that I always say that I should or that I want to, but I haven't really put any progress in it. I feel so guilty. But
dang.
Hopefully this whole coronavirus thing will finally force me to get into it. Like, well, I got nothing else better to do. Might as well. If they had a job or you could be a professional procrastinator, I would be one of the tops. I would be the top person in that industry, in that field.
Dang.
At least I think I probably could be. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be at the top. I would be so good at procrastinating, I probably wouldn't do. I would procrastinate so much that I would not be at the top. What a paradox I'm in.
All right, well, that about wraps up all the topics we got. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes, but
Cool.
of course, the power of editing might shorten that a bit. But
Yeah.
any last thoughts?
Nothing right now. Yeah, I got nothing. I guess all I can say at this point is definitely a kind of a small change of pace recording this during the day.
Yeah, it's a lot hotter, and
yeah.
not to mention, all the topics we bring up. There's just a ton to talk about this month.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess that's about it for me, I guess, It was a fun little recording session, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what the next session will bring us,
We'll see. If hopefully this quarantining doesn't get too serious and where everyone actually has to stay home.
Yeah,
we'll see.
If that ever comes to that, the next episode,
they're probably gonna be on like Skype or Discord or something.
Yeah, you'll probably hear Alex perfectly fine, but me,
he's gonna sound like a robot, like
robot talking through like a ham radio. That's probably what I'll sound like if things get worse.
All right, well, I guess just to close things off, remember to follow us on Twitter, LNW Duo.
We promise to be active.
Yeah, and this time whoever does follow us on there who wants to follow, we'll keep you updated on when these new podcasts come out. From Alex
and Chris.
And this was the Late Night Podcast.
The Late Night Podcast. Whether you're listening this late night or during the day is irrelevant.
Definitely.
Yeah. I guess at this point, all I can say is, hope you're having a good day or night whenever you're listening to this, whoever is listening to this.
And hopefully we get through this coronavirus crap out pretty soon.
Yeah.